Hi, I'm Sean Reardon, Mayor of Newburyport, and welcome to the latest edition of the Mayor's Corner. It is a beautiful day in the city today, and I am coming to you from the newest part of the rail trail, but it's been around for a little while now. But oh my God, it is the most beautiful scene when you get here. It really opens up over the river out to Plum Island and the ocean. This is Gomes Wharf, and it leads out to Joppa Park, okay? So we were in Joppa Park recently, so now we're here on the rail trail. We're also right next to the Wastewater Treatment Plant, and that's where I'm gonna be going in a little bit. So first, I wanna just talk a little bit about things that are going on in the city, and especially some things that are coming up this weekend. So first and foremost, there is the Walk Against Domestic Violence this weekend that's happening at Waterfront Park. Jeanne Geiger Crisis Center puts this event on every year. It's really a wonderful event. I haven't always been able to participate in it. We're always, we always donate when we can. But this year I wanted to get City Hall involved. So I formed a City Hall team. I also reached out to some city councilors and invited them to go with us. So we're forming our team. We're gonna try to dress in the same color and be united as a team, but we're gonna meet and we're gonna walk in that event on Sunday. I'm gonna have a couple of my kids with me. It should be really great. So if you wanna take part in it, it's down at the Waterfront Park, and registration's around like 8 o'clock. I think it actually starts a little bit before that, but 8 o'clock at Waterfront Park. So hopefully I'll see you on Sunday. There's another cool thing that's happening Friday night. So this is kind of like my proud son-in-law moment. So my mother-in-law, my in-laws both live in town, Ron and Sheila Trieff, and my mother-in-law, Sheila, is getting honored on Friday night. She is going to be one of 5 recipients of the 2022 Reverend Peter J Award. So this is an award that's given out by Congressman Seth Moulton's office. Reverend Gomes was a mentor and personal friend of Seth's growing up. So when he got in office, he wanted to create this award. And I'll just quote from he wanted to honor people in the 6th district that had the same kind of qualities as Reverend Gomes, and he highlights some of these qualities of integrity, compassion, and commitment to the community. Okay, so again, proud son-in-law. My mother-in-law is getting honored because she works with the Afghan families that have moved into Newburyport, right? So we have a couple at a couple different churches in town. We have a couple in some other housing in towns. I think it's up to 5 families now. And so really, my mother-in-law jumped right in when these families came to Newburyport. She's a licensed social worker and has just been really hands-on with this group. And it was nice, someone in the community nominated her for this, and she's getting recognized. So I know she hates it, but at the same time, I'm so proud of her, and I can't wait to be at that event. It's taking place in Salem at the Old Town Hall in Salem on Friday night. So congratulations, Sheila Trieff, and keep doing all the wonderful work that you're doing, because again, it makes Newburyport the place that I love it to be. What else is going on? So Friday we had a nice visit from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs and the Secretary, Beth Card, okay? And Beth Card actually lives in Newburyport, so it's really cool. So one of Governor Baker and Polito's administration secretaries actually lives here in Newburyport, which I didn't know. So I got to meet Secretary Beth Card, and she came down because we were celebrating that we just got awarded a $400,000 park grant. And that grant is going to be used towards Market Landing Park. So she came down with a few people in her office on Friday, and then our wonderful planning director and senior project manager, Jordy Vining and Andy Port, kind of talked about the plans for Waterfront Park. We talked about the history. We talked about some of the other projects that are going to go along at the same time, like the bulkhead project that's going to support those efforts that we're making in expanding Market Landing Park, and then the resiliency efforts that all that entails. So it was really a great conversation on a beautiful day, Friday afternoon. A great way to start the weekend. One, hearing that we've got more money coming into the city for these great projects, but also really highlighting these great partnerships with our partners at the state level in the Baker-Polito administration. So that was great. And Secretary Beth Carr, I can't wait to see you around town. What else is going on? Mandatory water restrictions are still in place. So again, our water reservoir capacity is still hovering around 80%, which is great. We're going to keep the water restrictions in place, which I've talked about before. So, if you live in an odd number house, you can water on odd days, even number of house, even days, and you can water between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning, or 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. at night. And we're going to keep those in place because the state is still in a level 3 drought watch. So we're going to keep those in place because we're anticipating the state's going to update their restrictions soon, and so we're going to kind of follow their lead. But right now, I think everyone is doing well, and it looks like our reservoir levels have stabilized, so we don't feel like we need to take any more actions right at this time, and we'll see what happens next week. But I will keep you informed on that. Real quick, story time is back at the public library. This is a great sign. Again, coming out of the pandemic, we kind of stopped a lot of in-person programming that was going on around the city. But at the public library, Storytime is back. It's on Thursdays. It's for ages 0 to 5. So check out the Newburyport Public Library website and to get more information. But we're psyched Storytime is back. Real quick, the paper released an article a couple weeks ago too about, I wanted to form this LGBTQ advisory kind of board, right? And so this would actually be a subset of the DEI Alliance, so the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Alliance. And what we were really looking for is just, voices in the community, in the LGBTQ community that could come together, talk about issues that are going on in the city and how the city can support, but also help plan some of these events, particularly Pride Month in June. Bringing those voices together on a yearly basis and then having them have a voice within the DEI Alliance as well. So I think it's going to be a great partnership. So we're collecting resumes and letters of interest right now. So if you are interested, you can send a letter and resume to my office. So you can if you want to email it, it's mayor@cityofnewburyport.com, or you can mail it to the office, 60 Pleasant Street here in Newburyport. But yeah, we're going to collect those. We'll bring you in for a conversation, and we're hoping to get that set up here in the next month. So it's a really exciting endeavor, and I think it's going to be a great partnership between, again, that board that we form and the DEI Alliance. And finally, I want to talk about the parks reorg plan. So for weeks, we've been talking about this vote coming up. So last night we were supposed to vote, and I decided to pull the plan and not have the vote take place. I think just after hearing such good conversations at the Neighborhood and City Services meeting and hearing from some councilors that they just wanted some more time with the plan. And I actually think we have some things too that we'd like to incorporate at the plan at this point too that's going to really help us get to a 11-0 vote or a 10-1 vote, because it looked like it was going to be a close vote. And a plan like this, because it's going to benefit our parks so much in the city, shouldn't be a close vote. So we decided to pull that. Stay tuned. We're going to have more information about parks coming up, but I'm excited about the plan, and I'm excited about what we can add to it, and we're going to get back to it as soon as we can. So stay tuned for our parks. And that's pretty much it for my Mayor's Corner, but I am so excited to get into this wastewater treatment plant. We're going to meet with Jamie Tuccolo, who's our acting DPS director, and then we're going to meet with Chris Pratt, who runs this whole campus over here. So come on, let's go take a look. Hey guys, how you doing?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Mayor,
Good
nice
to see you. All right, so we are at the wastewater treatment plant here on Water Street, and we've been wanting to get around to as many different departments in town because there's so many good things going on here. So first, I just want to introduce acting DPS director Jamie Tuccolo. And this is Chris Pratt. And Chris Pratt runs this whole campus, and it's really amazing how big it is. So when I first took office, I came down here and got a tour. And it honestly is one of the most fascinating buildings and just operations we have going on in the city. So first, I just want to say Chris has been here for about 6 years, and really I think he's really taken our sewage and our wastewater treatment issues to the next level, right? He brings a lot of experience. And again, it's just a fascinating kind of operation. So I wanted to introduce Chris and just have him give us a little high-level view of the department. And then after this, we're going to go inside and we're going to talk a little bit about a specific project that's on our CIP currently, and we're going to talk about why it's so important. So Chris, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Reardon. So here at the wastewater treatment facility, we're basically responsible for treating, processing all the wastewater that's collected throughout the city and also parts of Newbury. We treat that wastewater, and then we discharge the clean water out into the Merrimack River, out by the Joppa Flats here. So we treat about 550 million gallons of sewage or wastewater per year, and we remove about 700 to 750 tons of solids out of that wastewater to produce that clean effluent.
That's great. So over the years too, we've had a couple of kind of big projects to work on, right? Like the odor. Was something that was done right away. Talk a little bit about that project, I guess. And I can say from personal, this used to be on my running route. So I always remembered, and I grew up here. So as a kid, you knew you had to hold your breath from a certain street until you got past the wastewater treatment plant. And now, oh my goodness, it's a different world down here. So Chris, just really quickly, talk a little bit about that project.
Started literally a month after I got here in 2016. And that whole project consisted of covering odorous tanks, adding a complete infrastructure of new ductwork, booster fans, etc., putting in large blowers, and then putting in a biofilter, which is a biologic process for actually deodorizing the wastewater, the odorous air that comes from the wastewater. And that project came in about $5 million, came in on budget and on time, and we've had really incredible results.
Absolutely, and that was a credit to Chris and his staff, the planning and the oversight to that project. And again, we just the results and the feedback we received from that is really incredible, especially for all the people that have lived in this neighborhood over the years. So let's go inside. We'll check out the campus a little bit here, and then we'll hear about this clarifier project. Am I saying that right, clarifier?
Absolutely,
okay.
yep.
Clarifier project that's on our CIP right now, but I want Chris to talk about it a little bit and tell us why it's important, and it's why it's kind of the next thing we need to do down here at the wastewater treatment plant. All right, let's go in.
Great. So this is our laboratory. We do a real extensive job testing the sewage or the wastewater. We test it as it comes into the facility, various points throughout the facility to manage the process, and then we test the final effluent or the clean water that we discharge out into the river. So we do a lot of process testing for our internal purposes to control the process, and then we also do testing for the US EPA and DEP that we report to monthly, quarterly, and annually. So in this lab, we do between 6,000 and 7,000 individual tests per year. So it's a real extensive program, but we use all that data to properly control the process as well as our permit compliance.
All right, so we're outside now, and I just want Chris to talk a little bit about the project that's on the CIP currently, and it involves these clarifiers. So Chris, just tell us a little bit about that, and why it's important.
Sure, so these two tanks they're called secondary clarifiers or final settling tanks. This is the next to last stop before the water is discharged into the river. And we have two of these clarifiers, as you can see, and basically at this point in time, we have to run both of those clarifiers all the time, so we really don't have a redundancy or a backup. So if we have a mechanical failure, that's a real issue, because it would most likely impact our ability to make our permit or meet our permit limits. So that's why it's so important to keep that CIP program and that project moving forward.
Right, so the idea would be, I think we have some land over here.
Correct.
And then we'd add the third, and again, when we did it, you'd be able to shut down one while you were getting one up to speed, and then you'd have them all back online. Yep. So really, a couple weeks ago, we were down at the water department talking to Tom Cusick and talking about some of these big projects that are in place to really protect our water supply. So this is along those same lines, just protecting our ability to keep up with our the water treatment plant, what we do here, and that kind of makes this project moving forward a real necessity if we want to again protect ourselves from any kind of catastrophic event around our sewage.
Right, and obviously it's very important in terms of meeting our permit and being in compliance with the EPA and DEP. But certainly as important is that if we have a breakdown and we can't run two clarifiers and we discharge partially treated sewage out into the river, it's going to impact the environment and the ecosystem. So that's a big factor as well.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you. I love coming down here because I learn something every time I come down here.
Welcome all the time.
Thank you for all the hard work. Acting Director Tuccolo, thank you for everything that you're doing. And that's our Mayor's Corner this week. It's a beautiful day. Get out there and enjoy it this weekend. Just a reminder that I do have my office hours, my big block of cheese hours this week. So Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. you can come in and talk to me, or Friday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. my office doors will be open. And have a great week, Newburyport, and I'll see you next time on the Mayor's Corner.